Alright, continuing right where we left off, this should go a little bit faster now. I'm just going to continue right from where we were. Everything underground is actually complete at this point in time. So I got to put in a little piece of wood here. That's why we left that gap of 1.5 inches between our floor and where the foundation starts. So up here under annotate, I'm going to go to component. I'm going to find my nominal cut lumber section. There it is. Find a 2x6, and I should be able to put a 2x6 in right down here at the floor level. If I wanted to, I could go back and pull my siding down to go past that section. It's just fine where it is. I think I can actually do it in this setting here so that my siding and my wall come all the way down to meet where the foundation starts. Since I have the 2x4 already selected, which actually kind of went away, but there it is. Since I have the 2x6 already selected, I'm going to go ahead and put that in my floor level as well. Remember, you can just kind of drop it in, and I need 2 of them up at the top of this wall for my my double top plate. So I'm just going to drop them in the wall anywhere, and then I'm going to use the Align tab. So I'm going to align, click where I want it to go, click what I want to move. There it is, lock it in place. Click where I want it to go, click what I want to move, lock it in place. There's my double top plate. Down here for the sole plate, click where I want it to go. Click where I want it to go, which it's not cooperating with me very well. Click what I want to move, and lock it in place. So there's my sole plate. I also want to put the joist in that's going to be running for my floor. So up here on annotate, click on annotate, go to component. I think the 2x10 works. It all depends on the size of your floor, which is why we loaded in all that lumber. But yeah, for me a 2x10 works great. That's going to represent my joists that go across the floor. There we go. 2x10 is in place. The anchor bolt that holds my house to my foundation can be found under annotate component because we loaded them all in earlier. Anchor bolt begins with A. It's a we're going to put a 1/2 inch bolt in. It's that J bolt. If you want to, you can kind of sit it right on top there, or you can use the align tool. Either way is fine. We now have that in place. We're going to continue moving up the wall. There's not much for me to do in the middle section here. When I get up to the top, I got to do a little bit to clean this up. There's a little bit of a mess here where my ceiling overlaps my truss. So this is actually part of the 2x4 ceiling. This is part of the truss for my roof. And there's just this little gap where it overlaps. I'm going to use the masking tool, and I am just going to mask part of that. So I'm going to go up to region, masking region. I'm going to pick some lines like this line and this line and this line. And then way over here somewhere, I'm just going to draw a line so that I can close this whole thing off. Doesn't matter that it's crooked. Use the trim tool. Click on the lines you want to keep, trimming it up, because just like the other things, the mask tool needs to have a closed loop. It looks like down here it's not closed either, so I'm going to trim that up. Just clicking on the lines, I want to click keep, hit done, and that little corner has been cleaned up. If I really wanted to, I could kind of fill this in and create a little masked region there as well, which I think I'm going to do just because I can. So I'm going to kind of clean this up with a little bit of a masked region as well, just to make it nice. There we go. So that it looks a little bit more appropriate. So I have my roof system pretty much in place at this point. A couple other things that I want to put on here would be the insulation. I'm going to get 5.5 inches of insulation. So there we go. Hit done. We're going to put insulation in our wall, so you can go right down here at the bottom of the wall, hit go. We're going to drag our insulation all the way up to the top. There we go. We're going to put some insulation in our crawl space as well. So under annotate, insulation, we're going to go from over here for our floor. This is in the basement, and we're going to go right across there as well to insulate our floor from what's underneath it. I'm not going to have it actually go into the floor itself. And we're going to put some insulation up here in the roof. So insulation, go across the roof. We'll label it later. There we go. I'm just going to move it over a little. Perfect. So FYI, one of the things I wasn't satisfied with was what my mass region looked like right in this area. So I just spent a little bit of time off camera cleaning that up. This is what my massed area actually looks like now. It just makes that look a little bit more like a ceiling truss, the way that it would be in a real project. Just so you know, if you're wondering why it changed, that's what I did. I do want to put the slope on the roof. So if you notice right here, there's a spot for spot slope. I'll go back to that. Spot slope under the annotate tab. And I like triangle so that somebody can see the slope of my roof. I'm going to put that way up here. It's just going to be part of my wall section. There it is. Just so you know, I put that in place. And we're just going to clean up this little gutter area over here yet. So I'm going to do a mask region. I'm going to draw a little box over here. Doesn't matter exactly where it is at this point in time. Something that looks like that. There we go. I'm going to take a 2x, I'll put my gutter in actually, annotate, oh, hold on, I gotta hit done. There we go. Annotate, component. I'm going to find my gutter. I got a bevel gutter cover here. So bevel, gutter, cove. Let's see what that looks like. I want one that's a little bit bigger than that. There we go. Put that right off of my roof there so we can see that. And now that I have that in place, I'm going to take this and just kind of slide it up a little bit so it looks a little bit more appropriate for the edge of my roof. This is also called the aluminum soffit. There's normally some trim on the inside of that to attach that whole soffit to. So under annotate component, I'm going to find a piece of wood that I can put into place. And I'm going to try a 2x4 just to see what that looks like in there. Maybe a little bit bigger, like a 2x6. And I will label that when I get to that part. So I am going to put that right there. 2x6 soffit construction. There we go. And I think I have everything in the wall section that I need to have. At this point, it's just a matter of starting to label everything. So I'm not going to spend a ton of video time doing that. Just one more time, you typically keep the underground stuff together in your labeling, and then you typically keep the floor stuff together in your labeling. You'll typically keep the wall stuff together in your labeling, and the roof and ceiling stuff together. So under annotate, text, and sure, I'll save the project. Under annotate text, I do like the curvy line. I'm going to start with just labeling from the inside out. I'm going to go all the way over here, bring it so where somebody can read it, and call that layer sand. Again, all capital letters. There it is. Okay, and inside of the sand, I'm actually going to label the next part. And this is where, when I go to line it up, I want to have both dotted blue lines present. It doesn't look like it's lined up, but that's where it's lined up. When I have two dotted blue lines, one to the left and one above. Click, and I'm going to say that this is loose gravel. Keep in mind when we did this for our shed, we were basically using it as a learning tool. At this point, we are going to be much more detailed in how we're labeling things. Double dotted line. This is my 4-inch, 4-inch drain tile. I can edit that. 4-inch drain tile. And I'm just going to keep labeling as I go up. I'm not going to continue showing and demonstrating every single label that I do, but what I am going to do is give you a printout of everything that I labeled so that you can see it, so you can read it, you can take your time, you don't need to watch the video anymore, you'll have a paper copy of it. And I will show you once I have the final version done in this video. So I'm going to pause. I'm going to label everything in more detail than what it needs to be, and demonstrate kind of what the expectation is for the project. This will take some time. If you need to come in during a study hall, please do so. You can ask Warner. We'll have the room open for you. Should be good. And at this point in time, I do have all of my underground items labeled. I did adjust the earth on this side to be a 2-foot crawl space. So I just did a little measure tool there to make sure that I have a 2-foot. The foundation was supposed to be at 4 feet. But I'm maintaining a crawl space for somebody to come under the house to do any maintenance that they would need to do on it when we're all completely done with everything. Just so you know. Something else that just occurred to me is when I put things in like number 4 rebar, this is 4 feet on center. This is my 1/2-inch J-bolt. It's going to be put every 4 feet on center. So the O.C means on center. And I don't need to have my crop region shown on this. That makes the writing a little bit nicer when we're all said and done. And there is everything labeled. I will print this for you and give it to you in class. In addition to that, if I scroll down to my sheet for wall section and go back up and grab that wall section that I just made, it should fit onto my sheet rather nicely. And there we go. I can print that and everybody should be able to see it. It's going to look awesome. All right.